This Trudeau guy, I get that they're supposed to be like this dynasty in Canada, but he's he's everything that I've ever heard this guy say, everything I've read about him. We thought that our president here was like super far left. And I can't even believe I'm saying this, in so many respects, on certain issues particularly, he kind of makes Obama look more centrist. Oh gosh, it's hard to say.
No, Dana, I hate to say it, but that's because you're ignorant. The conservatives in Quebec, or conservatives in Canada, would be centrist, and the liberals in Canada are socialist. To give you an idea, where I was raised in Quebec, which is a province, there are only 12 of them in Canada. We have liberals and we have liberal separatists. So there's a good section of the country there that doesn't even have the option to vote anything other than some faction of liberal. Let me kind of give you some context. I don't want to get into the parliamentary system. By the way, two-party system. Great system compared to the parliamentary system. When all these people complain about corporate two-party system, man, you do not want the parliamentary system. So basically, they traded in their Ronald Reagan equivalent for a social justice warrior, Bernie Sanders, with bad Botox. This guy is super far to the left. He believes in every single gimme that you could possibly imagine. He's played identity politics. He believes in all kinds of hate speech and censorship laws. Here's something crazy too, Dana, and I really want people to understand this. When people complain about corporate media in the United States, I say, okay, what's the alternative? What we had in Canada, which is government media. There's no field of competition. It's called the CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This guy who won, okay, previous guy, Stephen Harper, kind of like Mitt Romney on PBS. Picture PBS running TV and radio news only with no competition. That's CBC. Now let's go back. Mitt Romney saying, I don't think we should be funding PBS. That's kind of the same vibe that Stephen Harper was giving, saying we're giving way too much money to this government media. Let's open it up to other organizations, private media. This guy who won basically promised a winning bonus, saying if he got elected, he was going to ensure that CBC got another $100 million in funding. This guy won. CBC, the government-run media, will get another $100 million in funding. Just to provide context for people who complain about the corporate media, man. That's how corrupt it is in Canada.
That's insane. Oh, my gosh.
No, it's not. It's Canada.
So instead of saying, that's insane, I'm going to be like, that's totally Canada, man.
Totally Canada.
He seems relatively young. I saw this piece in the Daily Mail today where they did this, this pinup of all the young world leaders. And, of course, they had Justin Trudeau. I mean, honestly, what are Canadians thinking?
Well, you know what's so funny? I'm screwed because I talked about if Bernie Sanders was president. I said that's the only person who I would potentially revoke my citizenship and flee to Canada because it would go full socialist. And for the first time, actually, under Stephen Harper, Canada was higher than the United States on the Economic Freedom Index. Taxes were lower. The economy was doing well. People just don't appreciate it. People don't appreciate it when things actually go well. I mean, think of how much they hated George Bush when unemployment was legitimately, under 5.5%, which we never see. People become complacent. They become comfortable with the things that they have. And there was a real identity politics playing. This guy wants to bring in refugees. The niqab was a big, that's the full ninja, not the hijab, the full ninja. They've had people who wanted to use these headdresses on their driver's licenses. And Stephen Harper, the conservative, was against it because even though Canada is a multiculturalist enclave, not a melting pot, a lot of people throw around the term and don't know what it means. What it means is they're Saudi Arabian first and Canadian second. They're Lebanese first and Canadian second. They don't really have to learn the language. They don't really have to assimilate to the culture. And so that's why you have a bunch of problems. And you have Stephen Harper, who wanted people to become a unified nation, more like the United States, a melting pot. And the left in the country has fought that at every turn. So he's courted the votes of the young social justice warriors. He believes in things like hate speech laws. He believes in taxing the wealthy more. He believes in the CBC and giving them $100 million. Here's something even crazy, by the way. Crazier. There's basically three main parties. There's conservative, there's liberal, and there's NDP. NDP would kind of be like our Ralph Nader, only they hold about a 20-something% share of parliament. I'm not quite sure on the numbers right now. I could be wrong, but a significant enough share, certainly more than Ralph Nader. They promised $150 million to CBC if they won. And by the way, when I was a kid, this is mainstream in Canada, okay? The Liberal Party, NDP, sent out flyers where they were going to defend child sex pornography under the guise of art. That was part of their platform, meaning pornography that involved kids, I think, from between the ages to 14 and 16. They had to put that out there, that they were going to defend it, make it legally defensible under the guise of art. The kind of stuff that we talk about happening in the United States, saying this is fringe, far left, pastors being jailed simply for speaking out against same-sex marriage.
It's been happening in Canada.
It's been happening for a long time.